Welcome to Soccer As We Like It, the Man United director of the channel for United and football fans globally. Welcome to our Sunday podcast show. Our panel today representing UK. We have Vim, the analyst.
Hey guys,
Vim.
how you all doing?
Not
Hey,
too
how
bad,
you all
mate.
doing?
Representing USA, we have the ambassador from Tampa, Devin. Welcome on.
Welcome. Thanks for having me on.
And the controversial one from Houston Red Army, Bemsy. Bemsy, welcome to the show.
Oh man, thanks for having me on, man.
Right, United 1, Fulham 0. People say it's only Fulham. If United had lost, it would be da. United 1 is still da. At this point, is it just 3 points or you want pretty football and 0 points? Vim, talk to me.
Pretty football and points, but
No, one or the other. United are not at that point
both.
Both.
Points.
Thank you.
Means prizes. I don't know. That's what we need right now. Points. Desperate. But I only remember just Fulham coming back, into the Premier League. I remember they always used to bounce around at the bottom of the table, and then they disappeared for a little while, and they struggled in the Championship, and then finally found their way with new managers and so on. But a Championship team that's just come back into the Premier League kind of bossed that game in parts. I remember that they basically gave us quite a hard time. Onana was peppered a few times again.
Mm-hmm.
They look like the better team, and to be honest, I think they deserved the win. For us, we scraped it. We got lucky, and thanks to Bruno's perseverance. Although he had a bad game, in my opinion,
up to that point.
Yeah, up to that point. But for me, there was a key thing that won us the game, and it was Garnacho and Pellistri. And I saw it before earlier in the season that when we played those two as wingers, these guys have a lot of persistence, a lot of perseverance, a lot of resilience. They do not give up. When we play with those two, we win games. So Erik ten Hag, I don't know what you're playing at. You've got to stop playing your boys, Anthony and Rashford, and let these two see out the rest of the season.
Okay. Let me go to USA. Let me get Devin on this one. Devin, pretty football or 3 points?
Do I get the full timer then?
Yeah, you get. I'll add it on. Don't worry.
Sorry. I don't care how we play. The only thing that I care about is getting the 3 points. Was it pretty football at all? No. But you don't win. You don't get top four. You don't win titles because simply you play pretty football. You get it by getting points. So that at the end of the day, that is what I cared about the most. It seemed like we, in addition to playing against Fulham, that we were also playing against VAR. I was so with the decisions we had this year, I did not even celebrate Bruno's goal because I felt like VAR was going to find some way to take it back. And it sucks because I should be celebrating. And I had to explain to people, I don't mean to be negative, but it just gets so tiring of when you celebrate and you think it's something great and VAR takes it away. But you know what?
Yeah.
3 points is 3 points. Let's see what happens.
Right. Well, Bemsy, welcome. We're welcoming the Soul Man representing USA. Joe, welcome to the show. Bemsy, Man United 1, Fulham 0, last minute Bruno, not pretty. 3 points or pretty football. What do you want?
3 points. 3 points. That's the most important thing right now. Yeah, I'll take that. I do want pretty football. It would be nice to see that, but then I think with this agenda against Erik ten Hag and people calling for him to be sacked, I think getting 3 points right now is more important because that at least keeps his job safe. The more we win, just the better chances he stays, which I don't think the club really want to sack him that quickly anyways. But yeah, 3 points is more important, man. I'm happy about the 3 points. So yeah, it was a terrible game to watch, just like every other United game. You just don't know what we're trying to do. Boring. At points you want to go to sleep. That's how bad we are. Yeah, one of the worst teams to watch in the Premier League this season. In fact, I would say we are the worst team to watch, in my opinion.
Wow.
I enjoy watching other teams more than United, but yeah, 3 points, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Be good with that.
Joe, can you hear us?
Hey, Joe, you on mute?
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I don't know. Okay. I mean, to me, yeah, it was a really, really hard game to watch, man. Both teams were just stinking it up left to right, man. Just couldn't really get it going. The final third was atrocious. But of course, we look at the bright side. We look at some of the, things that we improved on. Like Onana, he played pretty well today. I see a little spark in Palestri. I'm glad that Hag took Anthony out with a good amount of time. I think he got him out like on the 60th minute or something. So
yeah,
I'm cool with that. But yeah, it was an ugly win, especially for the win to come from somebody that really had a terrible game. Bruno was just trash today. He was so bad. Like the first 12 minutes, I remember it was just like could not keep possession. In everything he tried, just for whatever reason, just did not work. I was just aghast. But another moment of brilliance, another game in which we still do not like. How is it that we have played these many games and we don't know what our style is? Like we're the only team that doesn't have a style. Like even bad teams have a style of losing. We don't have a style of anything. We don't have a style of losing. We don't have a style of winning. It's just bad. It's weird. So hey, it is what it is. That's
right.
That's what they gave us.
So as you all know, the media and some United fans, I was looking at some of their fans yesterday say they refuse to celebrate the victory, that it's just Fulham, they don't give a damn, blah, blah, blah. But end of the day, it's the same fans who complained if we had lost the game. If any United fan did not celebrate that goal yesterday for the reasons whereby, okay, you just won't celebrate because it's only Fulham, there's something wrong somewhere. There's a disconnection somewhere. It's either these are the people who want United to fail so they could it proves the agenda and narration, or they just hate United. But any United fan who did not celebrate yesterday, the time of the goal, the everything that United went through yesterday, the VAR disallowed goal and the goal coming, any real United fan who said I'm not celebrating I personally think they got serious issues, because at this stage we are not in the point of playing good football. That is out the window. We're just trying to get the points on the board. 3 points could stop you from getting relegated. 3 points could stop you from winning a league title. Pretty football sometimes doesn't get you all of that. Not this team.
Or would I? So, like I said, would you guys consider me being in the wrong for not celebrating because I was afraid VAR was going to take it back?
No, your case is different. You were apprehensive and been traumatized by VAR this season. Yours is a separate game. That ain't that. I'm talking of the ones whereby, what the hell? So what? Ooh, rubbish. Them fans.
Oh my God, Devin, the same thing happened. No, for like I know I came in as he was ending that story. Yeah, the same thing happened to me after when Bruno's goal went in. Like I waited until they did the replay, and I wasn't even watching Bruno. I was watching everybody else. I was doing my own VAR right before I started celebrating.
The commentators actually said we have to check VAR first.
I know.
Because it's like the other one. Because if the standard was the other one, it was like, really? That's what we're doing? That's how close we want to like relegate, regulate this game. Okay, so that's what we got to do with everything else. Every replay got to turn into, instant replay or a VAR session. Everybody, I'm looking at who's offsides. It's like, yep, that's legit. Like I'm doing the same thing VAR would be doing. That's what they got us doing right now. It's crazy.
So I thought the rule used to be if the player's not interfering with play. Maguire wasn't, in my opinion, I don't think he was interfering. He even missed the ball. So I can't get my head around how the goal was disallowed. Does anyone understand that? Why was disallowed?
Look. I'll say this right. I'll say this right.
Okay.
There was a goal. that we scored against City last season. Where and I'm sure you guys probably remember, this is when we beat City at home, and it was a pass from someone was on the wing that played a ball towards Rashford. Rashford was running towards it, but Rashford was offside. Rashford kind of slows down, and then Bruno, who was onside, comes and kicks it into the net. You guys remember against City?
Yep. Because I remember all the controversy that happened after that one.
Yeah.
So how can you give that goal but don't give this one yesterday?
So has VAR changed
almost
the
the same
rules?
thing.
Have
Almost
they
the same
changed the
thing
rules?
because one is a player's on a player is technically offside when the ball's played, which is Rashford. In this case, it was Harry Maguire, right? And then what's his name? Garnacho plays it in, and then squares it to McTominay. And I what I'm saying is that VAR is just no consistency. There's no consistency. It's terrible. So I just wanted to bring that goal from last season, even though that went in our favor. But now this one is like, okay, technically they gave a goal like this to us last season, but now they're saying is never heard of this subjective offside bullshit.
No, so
okay.
Yeah, so the thing is,
go ahead. Let Devin go. Devin go.
Go ahead.
My whole thing, it's like Bems is saying, if you're gonna call something one way, I have no problem with that if you consistently call it that way. I'll give you another example. Earlier this season against Arsenal, you remember when Gabriel basically wrapped his arm around Højlund in the box?
Yes.
Yep. And that was not given?
Yep.
Why was it given against us in the City match?
They were saying, someone was telling me because
there was another one. I cannot remember the match where it was Garnacho hit a shot, hits off a player's arm, and the arm is out here. Or
the arm is That was against Spurs.
Ball. And then they had another match this season. I can't remember. Same thing happened. Gave the penalty. Let's go further. I think it was Brighton. Rashford had the ball, and they can't tell if it's exactly over the line or not and whatnot. That's ruled out for us.
Yeah.
Anybody saw what happened? Arsenal.
Yes, you did.
Yep.
Lo and behold. So again, where is the consistency with the calls? Like that's at the end of the day, just give us consistency.
Yeah, VR is not consistent, and Devin hit it right on. That's it.
It seems. I'm trying not to be a conspiracy theorist. I'm trying not to think it's a bias. I don't know what to think anymore, but it just seems we are suffering it more than any other team when it comes to disallowed goals, penalties being awarded, penalties not being awarded. Am I wrong to think that way?
No, you're not.
Not at all. Did you see an article about it?
It's either that or we are the just unluckiest team on the planet. Every time it's a coin flip, it's always going against us. Just random shit. And then it's not happening everywhere else. And other teams are gaining points because of it. These mistakes or these actions by the referees are costing us legit points, man. Legit points in the way people treat our players and foul our players, and they don't get yellow cards. Right? There's a lot of things happening to our players. And I get it. It's weird because you got to imagine as a player with all the stuff that they got to deal with, they got to get on the pitch and they got to be better than the shitty refereeing. That is hard to do, man. As somebody that's playing a game where you have all these obstacles in front of you. And then on top of that, the ones that regulate the rules are the ones that are screwing you at the same time. It's just another, just like Arteta said, it makes a hard job impossible,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's just
another
thing.
He's not so, his case is not so bad. We are just every week there's something.
Every week it's something. Every week, I think we won 2-3 games where we had goals that were called back from with just millimeters, man.
Even the Burnley one. Remember when Johnny Evans scored?
Yeah. Another one.
Yeah. And I feel like these are the kind of, it's like they're targeting the kind of goals like because they're not like calling off the like second or third goals. It's always like the first one. These are like the goals that are like
change the game.
That changes games, like gets a team like pumping, you know? These are the goals that are getting pulled back. You know, these are goals that like if we scored it and then we kept going, you know, it could have like galvanized the team, even though like at the same time this season we've been historic with conceding right after scoring. I get that, but we still need.
I like where you threw that part in there.
I'm like, yeah, I gotta keep it real. You know,
there was no time for Fulham to throw anything back yesterday. It was too late.
yeah. Well,
right.
I mean,
so with the lineup currently, I mean, it seems we're going to be dealing now with Evans and Maguire. Are you satisfied with that partnership, Evans and Maguire, so far? I mean, they're doing okay-ish.
Well, I'm just a bit confused as to why Varane is being benched all the time at the moment. You know, is there something going on between him and Ten Hag? Is he injured? Is he carrying a knock? I mean, although he was ready to come on yesterday, when Maguire had a few head injuries, says to me that he's okay to play. So what's going on there? I mean, I'll pass that around to you guys after if you think there's something going on, but I would prefer to see Varane, and then I can't wait for to have Lisandro Martinez back. Maguire seems to be performing well at the moment. He seems to have improved a lot. So I think his stock value has increased, which is good in a sense that, you know, if we're trying to sell him in January, we'll get a little bit more money for him because he's showing what he's worth. He's not worth 80 million, but he's worth more than 20 or 30 million perhaps. But you know, if he's going to be moved on in January, then he's doing all the right things. And if West Ham's going to buy him, then, you know, that's fine. Johnny Evans to come back at 35 years old is okay. I mean, he's a better defender in my opinion than when he left the club. So, you know, by going around and working for some of the lower league clubs, clubs in the lower level, he's done him some good. He's learned his craft. You know, as they say, you know, 100, what was it, 10,000 hours or whatever makes you an expert. He's put in his hours. He's done his tour of duty. He's come back to us.
So who's in support of the Varane thing? I think the Varane thing is because from what I was hearing, Ten Hag doesn't think he could play 3 games in 6 days, which is a lot on him. He's keeping it for the Copenhagen game on Wednesday. Was it Tuesday? Wednesday?
So there's no fallout. There's no fallout between them.
I don't think there's a fallout. I don't think I've not heard of fallout. Has anyone heard anything different?
I mean, I was hearing stuff about just something happened between them. That's why he's not played. Because, I mean, Varane, when was the last time he started a game? It's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks, right?
The big games. He didn't play. Did he play
the City
Arsenal?
game? He didn't start. He okay, you would expect him to start the City game. He didn't start him. Didn't play him.
But you gotta understand. He is a biscuit. So him coming back, right, has to be monitored, right? If he's not 100%, maybe that's with somebody that has a history of injury. You don't want to bring them back when they're not 100%.
I agree,
right? And because you don't want to, because he's already lost his main like top defender.
Yeah.
Right? If he plays this wrong, he could lose Varane. And he wants to get both of them. He's just trying to tread water until he can get both of them back healthy.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah,
and I think that's it.
But he played, but Varane came back from injury, I want to say a couple weeks ago. So there's a couple games we played before City game that Varane played in. You know? If you could, I forgot what games have we played since what were the last 2 games before City? I don't know.
We played Brentford and Burnley. No, Brentford and Sheffield United.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the schedule right now for it. Are we talking all competitions or just Premier League?
Yeah, all competition. All
competition. Sheffield United and Brentford.
So he played in both those games?
He didn't. It was Maguire.
I know you played at least one of them.
I think it was Maguire and Evans, you know.
Let me see.
I might be wrong. But
he played against Copenhagen.
Okay. He started against Copenhagen.
Okay. And after Copenhagen, who else do we
He
have?
played against Galatasaray. Didn't he play against Galatasaray? Yeah, he fumbled. He had a poor game that day. He was all over the place.
Nah, I mean, what I'm trying to,
He
I'm
did
trying to
not
say
play.
since he
He
came
did
back.
not play against Sheffield United.
Okay.
Did he play against Brentford?
No, what? Sorry. He came on in the. It looks like he came on in the 84th minute against Sheffield United.
Okay.
So,
And Sheffield was just right before City.
Sheffield United would have been on the 21st. Copenhagen was on the 24th. City was on the 29th.
Yeah.
As far as
guess what his salary is.
Okay.
You
Okay,
had
so
his salary,
Brentford, which was on October 7th, so this would have been right before our international break, which that doesn't count for him anymore because he doesn't play anymore for France. And he did not start against Brentford either.
Okay, so he came back from me. So he played against Copenhagen, and Copenhagen was just right before City.
Yeah. So maybe he's getting his minutes nursed back. I guess I don't know.
So this isn't something new. That's the thing. For it to all of a sudden make it seem like this, like some kind of rivalry or something. This is something that Ten Hag has been. You've just proven it. This is something Ten Hag has been doing for multiple games throughout the season.
Yeah, but against City though, against City. Like I can understand where he's trying to manage his minutes.
I don't think.
But against City, you don't bench. You don't bench Varane against City.
See, Bems, you said something quite important there. You play someone like Varane at City, and someone that we've always struggled, or one of our players that always struggles against City is Eriksen. You must know that from past seasons, right? But he was played. So are you not questioning some of his
Oh no, I am questioning I'm questioning Erik ten Hag's formations and selections. I am definitely questioning
selections. Sorry, selections.
It's selections don't make sense. Like Varane should have played against City.
Can I ask a question?
I agree.
Go ahead, Jim.
Would starting Varane have changed the result?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay,
just answer the question, man.
No, we still would have lost because that penalty.
Yeah, we still would have lost. We still would have lost.
That penalty. So
do you think it's a guarantee that we would not have at least conceded 3 goals if Varane was playing?
There is no guarantee, but again, just like Ricky from the United Stand will say, Ricky will say, you just never know. Like you can't predict. It could have.
You can't just put it on one person. Would it have changed the result if Eriksen had not played?
Yeah, I mean,
and Varane had played. Would we have had a better result?
There's no guarantee.
We had a better result.
There's no guarantees in life.
There's no guarantees in life.
Eriksen is not.
But we might have had a better result if Eriksen was removed or substituted for
Mount.
Man, no, I can't even say Mount. I can't say Mount.
Someone who's better with
like
Mano. Control.
After like Mano or something.
In my opinion, right, against the big teams, City, Varane is your best center back. You play Varane against
I don't
City.
think he's fully fit. I don't think he's fit enough.
I think it's
wait. So now that you say, okay, will we have won? Probably not. But then you never know how the game would have gone, though.
Yeah, but I don't think he's fit enough for that kind of game. That game was high intensity. He wasn't fit
But
enough.
you played him against Copenhagen.
Copenhagen and City are
the week before.
Games, mate.
Regardless, if you're gonna play, teams, you don't. Okay, if he's not gonna play against City, why play him against Copenhagen? You're bringing him back from injury,
you do
right?
realize they do fitness tests literally every day.
I get that. Okay, but then since City, when was the last time he started? He didn't play against City. He didn't play the last game against what's his name? The last game we lost against Newcastle. He didn't play against the game yesterday. He didn't play. He has not played 3 games. And you're saying
the thing is, right? The thing is, it's funny.
At the end of the last game.
One at a time.
You're saying he's being nurtured back from injury. That's not nurturing back from injury.
So okay, let's get to this. So Bez, what are you saying?
I think there's something going on, man. I think it doesn't make between Erik ten Hag and Varane. He hasn't played 3 games. He hasn't started 3 games. If he's been nurtured back, see, this is what Ten Hag does, right? A player that comes from injury, this is what he does. It's 2 things. It's either he starts the player, takes him off at halftime or 60th minute, or he brings a player on in the second half. Ten Hag goes back, like he doesn't play a player for full 90 minutes once he comes back from injury. He always gradually gives him like maybe 45 minutes, then increases to 60 minutes, then he goes from there. Now, if he's trying to bring Varane back from injury, then if you play him against Copenhagen, you expect him to have played against City or Newcastle or Fulham. He came on the last couple minutes when we were on the last minute of the game against Fulham just to secure the win. That's not bringing a player back from injury. That's just trying to secure a win.
I question that as well, because
he was
going to bring him on with 3 or 2 minutes left in the game. I'm thinking, what is the point? What is the absolute point of bringing Varane for 2-3 minutes in the game? So this is why I'm thinking something's fishy. Also, the thing is, if you're trying to conserve him,
balls into the box, I think
no, but I just think it's a bit of an insult, to be honest.
Yeah.
And the other thing as well is that if you're trying to conserve this guy because he's injury prone or wherever it is, it's a damn expensive asset to conserve. He's getting paid £240,000 a week. So if you're spending so much money on a player, you play this guy until he's finished. Our whole team is falling apart anyway. So you play this guy. This guy's got experience, and you need someone like him in City who's not going to run around ragged chasing every single player because he doesn't know how to defend. He's going to position himself wisely and hopefully command the defense. So I'm thinking it's more than his fitness or his injury-prone record. I think there's something else going on, and it goes back to the other stories that we've been hearing about Ten Hag being put into the club by the Glazers to reduce the wage bill. So he's got rid of Ronaldo. He's got rid of De Gea. Sancho's been sidelined, and the next expensive player on our books is, guess who? Rafael Varane. So is there something else going on here whereby Erik Ten Hag is doing a job for the Glazers, come in and bring down his wage bill? He's already saved Glazers £1.8 million a week in wages. Varane is £340,000 of that. So it looks to me like there's a little list here, a hit list that he is executing for Glazers. That's
on the detriment of results.
I think Ten Hag is finished at his club. Sorry, I know you guys like him, and I always support him, but I think he's come in here to do a job for the Glazers. The Glazers, I don't know what they're planning to do, but I think it might be too late to. He's alienated too many players. He's pissing off a lot of people, and I think that his remit of coming here to save money is making him fall out with the club. Every club that's been successful, and I don't know if you saw the Beckham documentary, the success happens when the club is like a family. There's this camaraderie, this friendship, this strong belief in each other.
But
and
other
that family
managers
spirit,
have been fired
families, other managers have been fired too. This family spirit is gone from this club. Ten Hag, I don't think is going to get it back. So I think he's being pulled apart in different directions.
Okay. Who wants to go on?
I think there's bigger things there.
So I just wanted to bring up another point. Why I think there is something that there's more going on with this. Does anybody remember that it seemed like for a little bit in this game that Maguire had some sort of concussion going on, something like that?
Yeah.
Even where like
that was a clear concussion.
Like the ref even spotted it on the pitch, and I have to give the ref praise for that, for actually like saying like you got to get this guy off or whatever else too. And then Ten Hag still, at the risk of injuring Maguire even more, kept Varane off the bench. And at that point is when I started thinking, there's got to be something more here to this than what we're hearing. And that, and it starts making me think about what, like I heard the thing what Vin was saying about lowering the wage bill. I think that like I'm starting to believe that there could be just a potential falling out. Like it kind of reminds me of like, you remember what Moyes told Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic that they had to follow, learn off of Phil Jagielka, who hadn't won anything compared to what he had won. And like it seems to me like there's something going on in the background of Varane's like, I've got 4 Champions Leagues, mate, and a World Cup. I think I know what I'm doing as a defender. Maybe it might be an ego thing. I don't know.
It could be.
Can I just add one thing to that really quickly? Can I add something really quickly? There is a pattern. There's a modus operandi with Ten Hag. He falls out with the player then gets sidelined, and then he gets sold off or shipped off. He's done that with everyone that he's got rid of so far. He fell out with Ronaldo. It humiliates him by trying to bring him for a few minutes at the end of the game. He refuses to come on. Ronaldo's gone. He's fallen out with Sancho. Sancho's going to be probably gone in January, and I think that's a humiliation to bring on Varane with such a few minutes left in the game. So I think he's on his way out. Right.
No, but you know what, Vim? I'll say this: you do have a little point right there because he did the same thing. He did the same thing to Cristiano Ronaldo, bringing him at the last couple minutes of the game. He did do that though. That's scary. That's scary. That's very scary. You don't do that to Varane. You don't do that to Varane. You don't do that to these big players. There's definitely something going on.
You see patterns. Sure. You see patterns with Ten Hag, isn't it?
There's something going on, but
see him do this again and again.
You do, but I'm not against Ten Hag though. I still think he could. Yeah, I still think he's not the problem. I still don't think he should be sacked regardless. But then, it's something is going on there that just doesn't quite make sense.
The other thing as well, by reducing our wage bill and getting rid of expensive assets who have come to the end of their life, does actually make the club more look more healthy, look more profitable, because you're not paying so much money. That means that you increase the value of the club, which makes it more.
But then why you give Rashford
Rashford is the after Varane.
You just gave Rashford 350.
Yeah. So I think that would be Joe Glazer. That would be Joe Glazer. So Rafa Varane after Sancho is the next highest earner. The next highest earner after Varane is Rashford, then Martial. So I think if Rashford continues with this form, he could potentially go at some stage.
Do you actually think though that anybody?
Why is that controversial?
Let Vin finish. Let Devin finish, please. Go on, Devin.
This is because I have heard that argument as well too, and I have voiced that same issue. However, Rashford is United's golden boy. He's the homegrown talent. He's like the savior to the hungry kids, all this stuff too. But my big issue with Marcus Rashford right now is it seems he's falling for what I call the Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang syndrome.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'll elaborate on that for anybody who doesn't know. You play incredible, you get your big contract, and as soon as you get your big contract, you down tools.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's obvious.
It's I can understand like you're maybe not having the best game. And okay, you could be in a little rough form. It happens to everybody. What I cannot forgive is not doing the basics, not tracking back, or half-assing tracking back to make it look like you tried and just giving up. And we know that you're capable of more than that. Mm-hmm. That's it could be like, okay, maybe you don't get a pass right as you wanted it, but then you just give up on the run afterwards when you could have had the second chance doing things like that. That's the stuff that I cannot forgive. And it's very frustrating because we all know what Rashford's capable of, and he's nowhere near it right now. 100%. So I do think he needs a bit of time on the bench and let Garnacho or Pellistri come in and make Rashford earn his spot again. That's what I want to see.
That we're coming to the next part. Joe, you wanted to say something quickly?
There is absolutely nobody on this roster that is worth Ten Hag's job. Anybody that falls out with him can go. Varane can go. For the amount of money that we paid for him, I'm sorry, your availability is just not. You're not getting us. We're not benefiting from this. We're not benefiting fully from this contract, right? So, I think this whole thing is just. I don't think there's really something happening. I think he's just trying to manage his fitness, right? Because it's been a minute, right? And it's not as if like Varane has been having bad games. You know,
his game against Galatasaray, he had a stinker, mate.
Yeah, he had a really bad. Yeah, that was a bad one. But like, it's not a Varane thing. You know, I've been more worried about even till this day. I don't care what Maguire and Evans look like against Fulham, right? Next week, I'm still going to be worried against Luton, right? You know, so because I don't have that kind of confidence, I don't think I can ever have that kind of confidence about Maguire and Evans. So surely, we all know, and I'm sure Ten Hag knows as well, Varane is the better center back. So I think it's just managing, you know, but at the same time, if whatever it is, if it's about saving money, like Vincent made a comment earlier about, well, you know, it might be a situation where Rashford makes a lot of money and, you know, if he's not performing the way he is, maybe there's an opportunity to get him out. Well, yeah, that's how it should be. If you're getting paid bags of money at Manchester United, and you're not performing to standard, you need to be seen or shown the door. That's what's happening with Sancho, and that's what could potentially happen to Rashford. Just because you are a local boy, that does not mean you have a natural God-given right to wear this badge. You still got to show up, man.
Every week.
If you're not showing up, every
Show
week,
out.
man. Show out. I don't like this demeanor because he's not giving me the golden boy demeanor. Why does it stop at the fact that he came through the academy? Does he play like an academy product? Have you guys been watching this kid play? Does he look like does he look like somebody that our academy should be looking at right now and be like, wow, I want to be like that guy? Nah.
Who are you talking
He's
about?
been terrible.
Rashford.
Talking about Rashford.
Oh, Rashford, yeah.
Rashford.
We're talking about Rashford. So
Okay.
until he starts looking like that, then he can start moving, moving different.
Okay.
You know
Let's
what?
move past quickly. Vin, we'll come back.
Yeah.
Garnacho yesterday. I want you guys to tell me what was his impact? Do you guys think he worked harder yesterday than Rashford would have done if Rashford had started? Let me start with
100%.
Let me start with Devin.
Yeah, he showed effort. I don't care what VAR says. He had an assist in that game, which I don't think Rashford would have put in. He took his chance. He finally had a rare start again because I think this was his first start since the first match of the season, if I remember correctly. And you know what? He did not disappoint. By the way, did anybody else notice like when Garnacho and Pellistri were playing together on the wings? Like it seemed like there was a nice little there was some nice little flow going there as well too. And I was just thinking like, okay, Rashford and Antony. You see these people that are coming for your spots right now. Hello. And yeah, I was very impressed with what I saw with Garnacho. He was taking on players. His decision making.
Decision making is the word.
It's still a little bit there to be made.
Very youthful.
But here's the thing right now though. I still think at his age he made better decisions than Rashford has been making this season.
Yeah.
And so when you go off that, it's like
it is what it is.
I gotta right now. I want Garnacho on that spot, and I want Rashford coming off the bench and earning it back.
Who wants to follow up? Anyone next?
I'll follow up.
All right, let's go, Ben.
So I said it earlier. We played another game earlier in the season where we had Garnacho and Pellistri in the wings, and that was a successful win. These two are relentless. They show hunger. They show desire. They show what it means to wear that jersey.
They look like wingers.
Look like wingers. But it's exciting watching them play because when we lose possession, these guys are doing everything they can to get the ball back. Pellistri is like a man possessed. Garnacho has got the energy, he's got the pace, he's got everything. When that boy gets the ball, he's turning and twisting. The players can't even figure out where he's going to go. Rashford doesn't do any of that. He hasn't done that for a long time. Antony is very predictable. And when he does lose the ball, he becomes impetuous and he starts, kicking out players and gets he loses all self-discipline.
Can I pause real quick with what Vim was saying? If the way Pellistri led to that goal, if that was Antony or Rashford, at some point in that engagement, they would have held their hands up and they would have gestured to the referee to give them a foul. Where Pellistri and Garnacho play to the whistle. And that's one thing I've noticed about this team, man. There's too many of our players that don't play to the whistle. Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt. Vin, please continue.
Yeah, so that goal that we did get in the end was because of Pellistri. It was his determination to harass that left back, get that ball. I remember Robinson trying to take it off him, another player trying to take it off. We caused 9 forced errors in Fulham up to that goal. And Pellistri was integral for that because he did not give up to win that ball back and provide it to Bruno. Bruno, I think, tried to do a feint, kick the ball, Pellistri won it back to him, gave it back to Bruno. That guy, he has all the spirit that this club needs to go and be successful. And I'm telling you, Ten Hag needs to play these two over Rashford and Antony. And if we plays these two, we're going to have a successful season, and we can save this season. If he goes and picks Rashford and Anthony, and lets these two suffer, which he would, then he's gonna get the chop. So he needs to think carefully about what he's doing. You play guys on merit and not because they're an expensive asset or they're some golden boy who saves the hungry. That doesn't matter. If that's so important, bring Rashford back in the ambassador and let him go and do some charity work for Man United. By the way, the cash value in our bank at the end of the 22-23 season was £74 million. So really, this club is kind of broke.
We are broke.
74 million is not going to buy you. You're going to buy you what? One player. And so that there's also that potential of why we're trying to trim the salary, which is what Ten Hag's doing.
Right. Who wants to go next? Garnacho on the left yesterday instead of Rashford. Who wants to go next? Bems? Go on, Bems. Let's go.
I mean, yeah, definitely you would want to, going off of the way Garnacho played, you want him over Rashford on the left side. But I also want to stress too that Garnacho is still young. We have seen games where he was just terrible in that position. So I would like to see him play in that manner against stronger opponents, bigger teams, and if he can continue to do that. But I myself, I'm not a big fan of the way Garnacho plays, to be honest with you, because he does the same thing that Rashford wants to do sometimes, man. He does
you said the word what Rashford wants to do, but it doesn't come
what
off.
Rashford does. I mean, he goes down when he goes down the left wing. If you notice, a lot of times he's always trying to cut back into that right foot so he can drive and go in and take a shot. He's always trying to do that. And there are times where he goes and he's losing the ball. You're losing the ball very easily. That's we conceded a goal.
You know how old Garnacho is?
Yeah,
he's only 19. He's learning his trade.
I understand that. I understand that. I don't expect him to be the finished article, but then I'm just trying to get you guys to understand that Garnacho, even though yes he's making better decisions than Rashford, he still does a lot of similar things that Rashford does. He loses the ball a lot on that left wing. He does that a lot. That's how we conceded. That's how we conceded the first goal against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. He lost the ball.
He tracks back and he goes back to it though. He tracks back and goes back.
Does. Yeah, he does. He does.
And if I had
we're trying to talk about yesterday's performance against Fulham.
Yeah, but I'm saying, yesterday's performance, he did okay. He wasn't like lights out to me. He did okay. I think the person that made the difference was Pellistri. Pellistri didn't come. If Pellistri doesn't come into that game, we don't come out with 3 points. So I mean, I like Garnacho because he's got that directness. Once he's on there, he's gonna go. But the thing is, I think his decision making still needs to improve. He's young. That will improve. And he needs to take care of the ball better. We have too many players that don't take good care of the ball. I can go on again, but go ahead, Joe.
Can I make a case for Garnacho in the sense that he is the lesser of two evils, right? There is nobody else that can take that spot right now on the left side, right? So at the end of the day, if you have a list of all the bad things that Rashford does, right, that are also aligned with Garnacho, and then you had another list of all the good things that you see from each player. Garnacho's list is longer. The good things is longer than Rashford's, right? Because yes, if both of them are going to lose the ball, if both of them are going to be maybe over aggressive, if both of them are going to make bad decisions, I would rather still have the guy that tracks back, that has energy, that doesn't have his head doesn't slump down when things and he doesn't always go and run into 2 or 3 defenders at a time. He's rash. He's kind of like Chong. A lot of times they always seem like they're stumbling over themselves. But shout out to Chong today, though. Really great work over there in Luton.
He did a good job.
Doing his thing.
Great
job. Shout out to
Luton, man. They almost won that game.
Overall, I think yesterday I thought Garnacho showed some maturity. it wasn't an easy game. Fulham are not an easy team. They are a bit tough, but the maturity he showed, his decision making, because Rashford is indecisive. That's the problem with Rashford. He's indecisive. He takes too long to decide. Should I dribble? Should I pass? And he loses the ball. Garnacho, like, if I'm going to dribble, I'm dribbling. If I'm going to pass, I'm pass. That's the difference in yesterday's game. The quick decision making. That is why.
And I also highlight real quick. I thought Onana was brilliant yesterday.
Yes, he was. He was.
It's about time we started seeing a little bit of the reason why we paid so much for him. And I thought he made some great stops yesterday. And yeah, let's see. He probably saved us conceding at least 3 goals yesterday by himself. And so I have to give him lots of credit for that.
100%. 100%. He was, I mean, there were times whereby you thought, like, you know, I think he's beginning to find some form of late. I think he's beginning to find some form. So I think yesterday, I thought he did well enough to keep United in the game. There were 3 good shots he made, 3 good saves he saved, which, if, you know, I thought he did well. I thought United did well in terms of Onana keeping the score clean. I thought people, and I keep saying, people said, oh, it's only Fulham, it's only Fulham, it's only Fulham. Yeah, it's only Fulham. Look at Liverpool. Oh, it's only Luton. Then Luton nearly beat him. So, you see, it is not an easy match, but it's just because it's Man United, there's extra pressure, there's extra clicks, there's extra, because I know those reporters were already typing another 0-0 draw with a club, and Bruno scores, and like that, he changed that narrative. Because I know that there were these guys already typing headlines for the next day, but they were disappointed because the goal came. But this is what we're dealing with this season, and it's not going to get any easier. If United can get 3 points, playing badly for the next 20 games, I don't give a damn. 3 points take you up. Pretty football, and you lose, goes nowhere. At this moment, 3 points, and let's keep it moving. 3 points, keep it moving. 3 points, keep it moving. That's all it matters. At this stage where we are. Yeah, they might stink up the place. 3 points. As they say in sports, they don't ask you, how did you win? They ask you, who won? That's the question. Did you win? Or they don't ask you, how did you win the game? No. Did you win? End of. Keep it moving.
That's not who, bro. That's not who we are, though.
Oh,
like,
listen,
we are literally on a channel
saying,
discussing the stuff.
I know how United are. I know the United DNA. But at this moment in time, that is not going to happen. If you want pretty football and we're heading to the other side of the table, then that's fine. I want dirty, horrible football with 3 points. I will take that option, mate. 100%.
Oh, for sure. Like, no. Don't get me wrong. I would not trade, man. Wait a minute. I have a question at the end of the thing.
Go on.
Yeah.
Now, we're currently in 8th place, right?
Yeah.
Would you trade us not qualifying for anything, not even a Conference League this season, right? Would you guys trade not qualifying for anything this season, but we have a legit style that all it really needs is just better players? Like, you can see patterns and style, and we just looking good. It's just that defensively, because of our deficiency as far as like with our injuries, we can see goals, you know, but you see a style, you know, would you trade that?
I'll take that.
I'll say no.
Who wants to go first?
Bems, you want to go?
Okay, I'll just go quickly. I would take a good style of football right now, because I'm for me, I love football so much, and I look forward to watching United play every week. That's just me. I look forward to playing, but then when we start the game and we start playing like crap, I'm like, oh man, I wasted my time looking forward to this mess. For me, if seeing something that's attractive, that's nice to watch, it just makes me, and then I'm able to compare it to other teams. I mean, because when I watch City, I watch Liverpool, man, I enjoy those games, man. Those games are level. Yeah, I know we're not there, but I would like us to, even if we're like half of that, it would make me look forward to watching the games even more. So I might consider taking that. Is in something interesting for me to watch.
Yeah. But you will also be upset that we're losing every week.
No, right? So I'll put this way, right? If we're getting the same points tally, we win a few, lose a couple.
No, pretty football, we're not winning. Pretty football, we're just like not getting results.
No, we're pretty full. We're even well, there's no guarantee though. When you play good football, you're not gonna lose every single game. You will win games. You will win some games. It's just it won't be like 3-0, 4-0 wins. It will probably be 4-3, 5-4. I'll take those any day. Or 5-5, 3-3. I'll take those any day. Go ahead, Devin.
So the reason why I'm saying no on this one is if we're playing this way and we're losing games, that means then that we don't have the right players in the positions that we need. That also means we're going to miss out on the extra money that we'll be getting from qualifying for European competitions. And we already know how the Glazers are with their pockets. So if this happens, do you really think that they're going to open up their pockets to sign the players that we need to move on for the following season? Or are we just going to be stuck with the same players again? We're going to be doing the same process all over again. And also on top of that, what big name players are going to want to come with no guaranteed European football? Now, obviously, people can bring up Tottenham now and see what bringing James Maddison did to that team. But keep in mind, James Maddison was already on a team that just got relegated, so he had nothing to lose by going there.
Yep.
So that might be the only saving grace, but I just don't see the Glazers spending the money to investigate the players we need with that. So I would rather just get into Europe somehow. So that way at least we have a little bit more of a war chest to spend money on. Because I mean, until something official is announced with potential sales or whatnot, I still have to go with the assumption the Glazers will be in charge.
Yep. Anyone next? Vim.
Me.
You said
Style of football.
Stellar football. You want stellar football and no points, right?
No, it's not exactly the combination I wanted. I was watching.
No, so as United are today, we are all over the place. Injuries, call it what it is we are just not playing good football. This current team can't deliver good football, but they could give you 3 points with bad football. What are you taking?
So I was watching Brentford yesterday, and I watched Brighton a couple of times last season and a few this season. They're a mid-table team, but they play a beautiful type of football. They're struggling now, yeah, but they've always punched above their weight, and they've, I think Brighton's beat us twice in the season. I cannot remember, but they've always outplayed us. And Brentford, they have just mediocre players that are not highly rated, but they play a beautiful style of football. They play with intensity. They're whipping the ball across, around everywhere. Wissa, the front six are putting a real shift. And the thing is, what they do is they all put in an effort, and they all play as a team, and they play close together. Whereas a few of our players will put in a lot of effort, which is why Garnacho should play over Rashford, because there is no effort from Rashford. So I would take us playing football like Brighton and like Brentford, and putting on a good show every week. If we might not win it, but it's moving us in the right direction, because if you do play, have a good style of football, and you do play with some intensity, you are going to get results.
Yeah.
So that's where we need to get to. So I don't understand. I don't know why we've regressed, because we were playing good football last season. So what the hell has happened?
Players?
Same players. So what the hell has happened for this team to go backwards, when really we should be going forwards? Is it the signings? Is it Ten Hag? Is it the alienation? Is it the Glazers? Is it all the above?
I think so, mate.
Let me just press. Can I just press Devin? Just press Devin just a little bit, like what Vim just said. If we Brentford is in 7th place right now, we're in 8th. If we could end in 7th place,
Brentford or Brighton?
I mean Brighton. Brighton's in 7th place, right? Brighton's in 7th place. We're in 8th, right? if we could end this season in 7th place, but bro, we look like Brighton, would you take that?
It's again, it goes with what I said before, because if I remember correctly, 7th place would get us Conference League. I think.
Yes. If yes, it will give you 6 and 7 get Conference League. Yes.
If I remember that correctly, but you're not going to get the same amount of money that you would have gotten in if you had qualified for Champions League money coming in. Then on top of that, the revenue that you're getting from the Premier League for TV rights then is going to go down as well too. Yep. And because of the ownership that we have, the problem now is that's going to make them not want to invest in any more than what we need to get the exact players in that we need. We'd have to get lucky like Tottenham did with getting Maddison off a relegated team. And then they would still probably want top dollar for that player as well too.
No, yeah. And players will only come to pick up a big fat paycheck, because we'll now have to start luring them with a high salary. But they don't really want to play.
The only players who would want to come would then be mercenaries who are probably looking for one last big paycheck.
There you go.
I'm looking at you. So yeah.
That's what's been happening now. Mercenaries come here for the big paycheck.
We've been doing. Like that's what has been happening for the last 10 years.
Yeah,
and that is exactly why I said, Ed Woodward, I'm looking at you.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Exactly
so the other thing as well,
ain't nothing has changed, man. Ain't nothing changed with these guys. I feel like, I look at the Glazers as parasites, right?
They are.
I look at the Glazers. No, we are the hosts. They are parasites.
Yeah.
Then it's all, and I say this in just an ownership to club level, right? A parasite just takes. That is exactly what they have done. They have only taken from this club. So the parasites, right? Either something happens to the parasite where they no longer, they could be removed from the host, right? Physically, right? Or like the parasite can no longer see the host as a viable, something that it can,
as a viable
stay alive
host.
Yes. So I think us staying in tournaments like the Europa and finishing top 4 and conference and Champions League, that is keeping us more like we're looking at we look
like the Glazers will
host.
Benefit more the more we're
yeah. So the longer they're gonna want to stay.
I hear that point completely, exactly what you're saying, and I thought about that as well too. However, I'm also thinking in the mind of the Glazers, because they're going to be like, it doesn't matter if we didn't make it this year, we'll be back there in short time as well. And because of the commercial aspect on this club, we can still demand top dollar for it, even though we're not in Europe right now. Because, for example, right now, they just turned down an offer for twice the valuation according to the New York Stock Exchange, because they still believe there was more money to be made. So, I mean, common sense wise, yes, okay. Joe, I agree. I agree with you, Joe. But I think you have to think Glazeronomics, and that's the problem.
The value of the club is going down. We're
yes,
losing money.
but not in the minds of the people who are trying to own the club. Glazeronomics. That is the problem.
Wait. So what? The market is the market, bro. It doesn't matter what the hell they think they're worth.
But they're the owners. They decide.
Yes, but they
don't decide what the market is.
They can die. Glazeronomics. They will die on that sword. That they want that value that they'll get. It doesn't matter whether
they can decide the money they want.
Yeah. And that is the problem. But
because Joe,
I agree with you. I agree logically. Yes, it should be that way. But because of Glazeronomics, again, they're going to want that amount of money no matter what. Joe, and they'll find any reason to justify it. And you know what's going to make it worse? It's going to be like the stadium could be in freaking dilapidated state, and they'll still want that top dollar because they're going to argue the commercial value could be that.
There you go.
We're seeing it already in their years of ownership. What have they ever done to any of the infrastructure?
Nothing. So the way to get them to sell is to deplete the commercial value of the club.
Yes.
As long as there's a cash cow coming in, yes. Yes, as long as that cash cow keeps coming in from that commercial side and whatnot, they're going to stay.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Which is why the protesters were trying to damage the sponsors. And I think they brought down the value of team viewer shares.
Yeah, but you got to understand, even the value They valued the club at 3.5 billion.
So this is the stock
the
exchange. Stock
Glazers.
exchange had it valued at 3.5 billion,
Right.
and they turned
Dollars? Are you talking dollars or
they turned down like
pounds?
7 billion
Pounds,
total
pounds.
from Sheikh Jassim or whatever it was.
The Financial Times valued it at 2.7 million.
2.7
pounds.
Yeah,
2.7
but
billion.
either way, they turned down according to financial experts, the club should be valued at. Sheikh Jassim offered over double it, and they still turned it down
because they never wanted to sell. It's come to that point now. They never wanted to sell. They wanted to see what's out there. They wanted to see what's out there. And this guy came and said, I'm going to buy you all out. Which means they had, it's a cash cow. They didn't want to let go of a cash cow. They see more money, like in 4 years' time, you know what? We're going to get more. So let's just see that's what they did. They just played us. They played us.
You know, as a business investment, it really stacks up for them because they don't have to put any of their money in.
No.
So it's not like you having to put down a massive deposit onto a mortgage or something
exactly.
and then or investing in a business. They've bought this business for nothing, and they've used the value of the business to keep it going.
Yeah.
So for them, they're getting however millions of pounds in dividends. It doesn't cost them anything because anything that they have to spend, any outlay, comes from the club. So as an investment, this seems like a good one for them.
Oh yeah,
because it's not costing them anything to keep the business. So it really is going to take a lot to shift them away from ownership of this club. Current value as of today is $3.8 billion of Man United, and that's 100% of the club.
So it's obvious. It looks like these guys are not going anytime soon. I don't think. And Sir Jim, from what Sir Jim was saying, I don't know if he's just talking out of the side of his mouth, saying, I'm going to buy a small piece, then I'm gradually going to start to buy more. I don't think the Glazers are going to just start giving more and more slices. I just can't see it. I just can't see it. Maybe I'm looking.
We need to raise cash.
Exactly.
So we've got 73 million pounds in the bank. We need a lot of investment. We're not going to buy anyone in January.
Nope.
Come next season, we need to buy. If Ten Hag flops this season, we have to pay his compensation if he goes. If he stays, then he stays. But he needs to reduce the wage bill, which he's doing. Either way, we need to have I don't know, 150 million, 200 million pounds to buy new players and associated wages. So they can't borrow any money. They've taken up all their credit lines. They've taken it to the limits. So they need someone to invest in the club, and that's what this $1.5 billion investment is. It's investment in the club to spend on players, spend in Carrington, spend on the stadium.
Is that enough though? 1.5, is that enough?
No, but it'll keep them going for a little while. Keep them going
till the value goes up, till they're thinking of there's going to be a Super League, there's going to be more TV money. The Glazers are just playing it. They're not planning to leave anytime. They're not planning to go. They are planning to just, get someone to put more money into the club, and they're just going to keep this cow going. They're not planning to leave.
I think there is something that would make them go.
What?
And that is an astronomical valuation of the club, which then makes them saying, right, okay, if I take 6 billion for this club, that'll tie me over for the next 10 years in terms of what I would make in terms of dividends. Then it seems prudent to walk away. So they want an above valuation, i.e. 6 billion plus, to walk away, to say, right, I will forego my loss of earnings for the next 10, 15 years with this amount of cash that I could walk away with. I think that would tempt them to sell.
Right. Benz, what's your take on this?
Yeah,
from with Sir Jim now saying, I'm buying this part, I want to be. Do we even know if he's really going to be giving the part of the running the football part of the business? They've not decided. That is not confirmed yet, is it?
Yeah, it's not confirmed. That's what's speculation. That's what's been rumored. I don't know how that's going to work when the Glazers is still majority owners. And if Sir Jim wants to buy players, I would assume that he would have to have the approval of the Glazers, because they're the ones that own the club. So that I don't like we all know that the Glazers don't want to leave because they had the offers on the table. But I'm almost with him. I think if you want to get the Glazers out, you have to offer something, like this. My favorite my favorite is in phrase from my best movie of all time, The Godfather. Make him an offer they can't refuse. That's the only way to get
true.
him.
What's a realistic offer, Bems? Give me a number that you think the Glazers won't refuse.
That offer is gonna have to be not 7 billion, not 8 billion, not 9 billion. I think you have to push. If you can touch 10 billion, which is ridiculous.
That's 3 times the money of the company. 3 times.
Didn't the Glazers
like
say?
They say, make them an offer you can't refuse.
But didn't the
Make an offer you
Glazers say
can't
they're
refuse.
waiting for Jassim to increase their offer to 6 billion? Didn't they say something like that in the news?
Yes, that's what we heard. But how
In
true
fact,
is
it's
it?
all speculation. We don't have confirmed reports.
There's no confirm. Yeah, there's talks that that they see the club being valued at like 10 billion in so many in a few years
future,
when they
in the future,
in the future because they believe that there's gonna be like streaming rights that where they can make a whole bunch of money. Like somehow the Glazers still believe that somehow they're going to be able to form their own streaming service out of this. That they're going to be able to get that from the Premier League rights, which I'm still trying to figure out how that would work. Because essentially you want to have the broadcast rights for this, but somebody else runs all the league stuff so you get to keep all that money. I just don't see the Premier League agreeing with that in any way, shape, or form.
Certainly not
the next part with
certainly
this
not
now,
the telcos.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly, Joe. But the next part about this, yes, we're seeing all these numbers that it would take for the Glazers to leave. But would this make any financial sense for the people that want to buy the club?
Oh no, that's the thing. It won't. No one's going to make that offer.
No one's offering 10 billion. Hell no.
No one's going to pay 10 billion.
Business savvy man.
So you would essentially you want
10 for it.
Yeah, essentially for a club that's valued, you'd have to pay 3 times the valuation.
No,
to even
no
crazy person
right? Would do that. No crazy person.
I won't even. I would be worried about someone that's gonna just pay stupid money for the club like that.
Clearly, that motherfucker's mental.
What about?
And this is why, based on all of this, unfortunately, I believe the Glazers will still be here at the end of the season, which is where this ties back into the same question that Joe asked before. And that's exactly why I said I would rather just get into Europe in any way, shape, or form. Because at least then there's some money to be put out to get players.
But check this out, right? The value of Twitter. Elon Musk paid
44
billion for a tech company that was no, exactly, but he paid 44 billion for a tech company that was founded I don't know how many years ago for just a 240 character message service. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, remember he wanted to back out of that deal, but he was court ordered that he had to buy it. So that's a little bit different.
But Twitter valued 44 billion compared to Man United at 6 billion. I mean, you just look at the brand value of Manchester United. Everyone knows that badge. I mean, the guy spent 44 billion on Twitter and then he renamed it X.
Yeah.
Wait,
there's some madness going on in the world.
Yep.
But
yeah,
I mean,
and he's now changed the thing about you have to start paying a monthly subscription for Twitter to get to have premium usage. The guy's he's making the money back because
he's not. Listen, Tim, nobody's gonna pay money for Twitter.
No,
it's not gonna happen.
I'm not. I'm keeping mine still free.
Nobody. Like it's not gonna happen. And like
some people will.
Some people will. You'll be surprised. Some people will.
Listen,
it's when people started paying the $15 a month or whatever it is just to have the blue tick on Instagram to make them feel special. Some people will do that on Twitter as well. It's like the blue tick used to mean something before they charged, like it meant like, oh, you're like a celebrity, whatever else. But the second that anybody get and just pay for it, that's when it took like all the specialty out of it. It's gonna be the same thing.
People who make a living on Twitter will pay for it.
Yes, they will.
They do.
They will.
Question time. People like us won't pay for it because we don't really use it in that way.
That makes sense.
I don't pay for it. No way.
Is there enough for them to justify that 44 billion price tag though?
I see. When I heard those figures being touted, it's insane.
Listen, just like how Bem said, like you really have to question the mental of anybody that pays that much for Manchester United. Like, wait a minute, you're like Thanos level, just like dedicated to one thing, So now I'm kind of worried as to what comes next, because if you're willing to go that far to just acquire Manchester United, bro, what are you gonna do with the squad? Like, what?
Exactly.
You know, so
and then on that note, it feels like the Glazers would then still try to even pull even more money as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Glazeronomics, right? Yeah.
There you go.
The Glazeronomics aspect is what's clouding this whole sale probably, because they think if Twitter can get 44 billion for a tech company, then what is Manchester United worth?
Do you know what also really messed us up? The sale of the Washington Commanders.
Yes, that was a big
Was
factor.
that the NFL?
Yes,
NFL,
yeah. So
how much was that?
They used to be known as the Washington Redskins, and then
that was about 6 billion, I think.
Washington Commanders, and so a group bought them out for, I think it was like just under $7 billion. And of course, Glazeronomics said they only have X amount of social media followers. We have 3-4 times that amount, so therefore we should be worth way more than that now. So that kind of really,
you could be right there, because they've got they've got the same revenues as Man United.
Yeah, but that's a terrible. That is a
terrible similarity to compare.
Yeah,
I agree.
Because
Joe, you and I are on the same page. You and I are on the same page with this.
We don't know. Okay, just because this guy over here, right, bought a piece of kiwi for $40, that doesn't mean when he bites into it, he's gonna get, good fruit. We don't know what's gonna happen. Like the Washington, they're not gonna make that money back for a minute. Well, if you're an investor, have you watched them? Have you watched that franchise?
Remember the league shares revenue. So no matter what, they're gonna make money, and there's no promotion relegation to deal.
But that's
so quick. I completely understand what you're saying, Joe. Washington Commanders, as it says, earns $545 million a year in revenue. Manchester United makes about 650. What is a classic car in America? A car that has some value. What would it be?
Probably like an old Mustang, just for
an old Mustang. So imagine, Joe, you've got an old Mustang, and your neighbor sold it, I don't know, for $50,000, and it wasn't too far off, in condition from what you had. You then place an intrinsic value on your Mustang, saying it must be worth the same. So is there that possibility that Glazeronomics or Glazers are thinking, okay, Washington Commanders sold for $6 billion. My club has more prestige. I think it's there or thereabouts in terms of value.
You're correct.
Or even greater than Washington Commanders. And maybe that kind of logic is applying.
Globally, Man United is bigger than Washington Commanders, whatever they're called.
Wait a minute. There are also people that pay $1,000 for Yeezys. That does not mean Yeezys are worth $1,000. Like, I don't understand.
So so people pay for things based on value that they perceive it has.
Okay.
So someone perceives that someone has greater value.
They can perceive all they want that Manchester United would.
Yeah, but the problem is we haven't found anyone that perceives a value of $6 billion.
Yes, the problem is that they're not. Right now, there's no obligation that they have to sell.
No,
they still own the club, or they're the majority shareholder for the club.
Yep.
And so they can sit there and they can willingly say, until we get what we think, we will stay here the whole time. It goes again with, like I said, with Glazeronomics, that I believe that they're willing to die on that sword.
Yeah. 100%.
I think
I completely agree with your points. I completely agree with your points, but I am just thinking, if I am a Glazer, what am I doing? I'm going to look out for me. I'm going to look out for my best interest.
Yeah,
and that's what comes down to with Glazeronomics, in my opinion.
Sorry, Devin. So based on all of the above what we've been saying, the Glazers have no real desire to sell or real pressure to sell, because it doesn't cost them to own the club.
No.
The only damage that is there by them owning the club is a reputation that they bring on themselves, all this negative attention, and they seem to live with it quite fine, because they're tucked away in Tampa, Florida, or wherever they are.
Yeah.
So they keep away. They don't come to the games. They stay out of the spotlight. They don't give interviews. They're happy to just take that hit each year and earn the money. They don't have to sell. They've put a perceived value on this club of £6 billion. Correct myself.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. And they know that this brand is only going to grow. It's only going to grow in the upwards direction. So they don't mind if Ten Hag fails. They don't mind if our players fail. All they want to see is that the brand doesn't get completely crushed, which doesn't look like it's going to happen right now.
You know what's funny, Joe? You know what's funny, Vim? Sponsors are still going to gravitate towards the club all the time. No, listen, even if we don't make Champions League, you're still going to get sponsors. Even if we don't even win a trophy, they're going to get sponsors. So the Glazers are going to say, sponsors are still lining up. So what? Do you see what I mean? It's still
no, you can't.
It's still
we're on the same page, Joe. It's just that we're just trying to figure out what the hell is happening.
No, I do not like. I am very, very uncomfortable with this idea that Manchester United has a God-given right to be a franchise and a financial juggernaut. The market has taken down great teams. AC Milan, Inter Milan, these were great teams, man. Yeah. And if you think that the younger generation, that you're looking at this younger generation, and they're buying City jerseys, they're buying Arsenal jerseys. They're not. There's only so much. There's going to be a point where 10 years from now, we're all going to be here, 10 years older. Even
your Manchester United shirt is going to be worth a lot more than the City shirt in 50 years' time.
But not the team, though.
Not the team.
I bet you.
Wait till Guardiola leaves, and what happens with their charges, and then we'll come back.
Yeah, then those blue City shirts become painting shirts, for DIY.
No. You cannot say that. Yes, what happened with Guardiola was great, but Manchester City, I just naturally called it shitty. Manchester City have a pattern. You look at Pellegrini and what he brought to that team. You look at Mancini.
They're all won league titles.
Manchester City is in a upward trajectory. They know there is a system there. You can see it, man. It's not just on the pitch.
Yeah.
It's in the belt. It's in the boardroom. It's in the medical staff.
The owners want success.
But this is it. That's what Abu Dhabi wanted. They wanted.
You know what the crazy part is? They simply copied what United was doing pre-Glazers.
Yeah, they wanted that.
They did it.
That's exactly what they did.
Glazers don't really want this.
They did not.
Right. We are coming
Glazers
towards the
want revenue.
end of the show, but we're gonna have to jump into question time. So, any questions?
I got one. I got a question.
Okay, go on.
If we get relegated, do you still think the Glazers want 10 billion or the same value? Because their valuation is
Who wants to answer that?
That they would not get that asking price. But that may consider them. That may actually force them to sell because the revenue will probably dip. Going to Championship unless the TV rights structure changes dramatically for that league. Revenue is going to go way down, and so then that might actually force them to sell. So
I think they would just ask for the Championship equivalent of $10 billion. That's all they would do because these they don't make sense, man. It doesn't like this the way they move, it doesn't make sense. If you're asking for 10 billion in the Premier League, right? You'll ask for the 10 billion equivalent in the championship. You would. That's just simple logic. That's just unless they get scared and they're like, oh shit, maybe this is the best we can do. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know how to get this team back to that 10 billion evaluation. So let's sell it now.
You know what the average wage of a Championship footballer is, by the way?
How much?
£60,000 a year.
Huh? Come again?
Yeah.
I mean, not. I mean, we're talking
£60,000 a year.
No, you mean a week? A week can't be 6,000 a year.
No, it can't be a year. It'll be a week. It can't be a year. £60,000 a year. That's it can't be.
A week. Yeah, a week.
MLS pays more than that, man.
Yeah, it's got to be a week.
In the Championship, it's got to be a week.
So we're talking about averages. We're talking about clubs along at the bottom get paid £3,000 a week.
Okay, I'll take.
Are you talking revenue into the club?
Average. I don't know. I'm just doing a quick search on it because people at the bottom hardly earn anything. For them, it's a part-time job.
Yeah.
So there's a massive differential between championship.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Not for the championship. I would say maybe for League 2, you start getting that kind of, maybe League 1. The lower teams in League 1, you start getting that kind of
championship has still got some good money.
Championship,
some not as much.
No,
this is
championship. People making 30 grand a week.
Big clubs in the championship, man.
People making 30 grand a week in championship, 40 grand a week.
Yeah.
There's some big clubs in championship.
Yeah, there are big clubs in there. Right. Any more questions for Brenda? Any more questions?
And I'm just
right. Last question. I'm gonna.
Was anybody else asking, or could I ask?
Go ahead.
Were you gonna ask quickly?
No. I'll ask after. It's just no.
I have. We only have one more. We only got one more question left, and I'm gonna ask it.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
No, Devin. You ask better questions, man. You go. I like your questions. Go ahead.
Does Rafael Varane start against Copenhagen?
Yes.
Well,
yes. Why not? Center back.
This my prediction. I don't think he's gonna start.
You think it's Johnny Evans and Mike Maguire?
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. Is the question should he start, or is the question
will he start?
Do you like not what you want? Do you think?
I like the part. Not what you want.
I don't think he will start.
I don't think he will start. Yeah, I don't think he'll start.
I think he'll start.
And then
because of
I hope
the importance of that match. I think he'll start.
Then I hope it to be clear to Joe that there's something going on there at that point in time.
Vim?
No, I feel like if he doesn't start, it's a health issue.
I think it really depends on Ten Hag's mood. But if I don't think we can fight for this Premier League anymore. So if our only chance of having any success is to go a little bit further in Champions League, then he should start, and he will start. But Ten Hag is so unpredictable at the moment. Picking players who are not performing over players who are performing. So I can't really predict it. I think he will, but we just don't know.
Here's a question. Oh, has everybody answered?
Yeah, I said he'll start.
Let's do the same thing with Palestri.
No.
He will not
start.
So he's not starting.
So Anthony starts again?
Anthony will start.
God damn.
Anthony will start.
That's
why. The thing is, and why should Anthony get first?
You know Rashford is starting. You know that, guys. You guys know Rashford.
Rashford's definitely starting. Yeah, Rashford's definitely.
Yeah, but why? Why should Ten Hag play Rashford and Anthony over Palestri and Garnacho?
Because they are the
why does he?
They are mature, experienced. They've been there.
But they're playing rubbish football.
Yeah,
maturity don't mean all that maturity don't mean shit.
Maturity don't win you anything.
The only maturity. The only thing that's mature about them right now is their trash football. That's getting real ripe and it's stinking it up, man. It is stinking it up.
So, based on that conclusion, then Ten Hag is making mistake after mistake every single week.
He's making all the mistakes. Yeah.
Well, on that note, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Did you get to ask your question, Tim?
Oh,
I said so. No, so good.
Benz. What's up with that? What's up with that? Come on, you had a question.
No. My question is not. It's not it. It's nothing. You guys ask better questions. Don't worry. My question is
no such thing as a stupid question.
Well, okay. I was. Well, I guess my question is: Do you think Ten Hag will still be here by Christmas?
Yes.
That's not a dumb question.
Yeah, I think he will.
Yes.
I think he will.
Yes.
He'll be here.
Okay.
He'll be here.
Yes.
Yeah,
because I honestly don't think
because the Glazers won't want to pay off his contract.
Yeah, and the Glazers, he's doing a favor for the Glazers. He's trimming that wage bill. He's doing what he.
Man, Vim, you sure about that?
I believe so. I really believe so. That he's doing a job for them.
And Twitter is not the real world. Twitter is not the real world, right? I think there's more fans, right, that are still riding with Ten Hag over.
Yes,
the ones that are getting
Twitter's
not the real world. That's something a lot of folks need to know.
The only way Ten Hag is going to get sacked before Christmas is he has to do something.
Yeah, we have to do like 6 games in a row.
He has
Back
to
to
just
back to
he has
back
to
to
like
back.
be beaten by
As in-
Luton. He has to lose every single match
Had some
before Christmas to get
furious
sacked.
cricket scores. 5-0,
Yeah.
4-0,
pumped.
Yeah,
4-0.
and he
Yeah.
used to
Getting
get
pumped by
thumped.
Luton 4-0.
Yeah, he has to do something
Yeah, that
really
might
bad
do it.
like
And
that
the
to get
fans are
sacked.
walking out week in, week out. As
Yeah.
in the stadium's emptying after every game. Then it's like, you know
Wait.
what? You got to go, mate.
Wait,
On that note,
just quick question, man. Why didn't K come on?
he
Why-
came on
why
too
didn't
late.
you get
I didn't allow him come in. He came in 5 minutes to go. We can't. We have to be specific nowadays. Yeah.
You know, if you miss training, right? If you're late for training,
K
go and sit over there. All right.
Ken.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
hey,
no
Tim,
birthday
Tim.
partying. No late for training. No waking up late.
Oh, okay, so here's
10 Hag rules.
here's one last question, all right? So, Tim, if K, right, because he's trying to come in 5 minutes late, right? If you decide he's not allowed to come in next week, right? Is everybody else gonna be okay? Right? Because
No,
You mean
the-
is
the
he gonna
point
get? Is he benched? Is he benched?
He'll be benched.
let's say you try to say that
the match has
you're
been
coming
an
in
hour
late.
on now. We are coming to the
Yeah.
injury time. We don't do
Uh-huh.
injury time subs now. We
Okay,
got to
Exactly.
move on.
Okay,
Ken,
you
you're
know
gonna
what?
be
I'm-
watching
a
from the
nice one.
sidelines.
Hey, I'm gonna be fine with that because I'm dedicated.
You got to
this
come
channel.
in.
I'm
The game
dedicated.
is 90 minutes. You got to come in the first 15 minutes. Anything
not
after
gonna
the 90 minutes,
I'm
you're
not gonna
coming on
down
the
tools.
game.
And I'm
it's
not gonna
fighting for
down
a
tools
spot,
next
man.
week. I'm not gonna
Joe's
down
fight-
tools next week, man.
No, you ain't done no tools. We got deduct your
Joe
wages.
wants to be on the starting lineup next week. That's what he's trying to do.
What's up, man? Yo, it's all about
All right,
the badge, man.
gentlemen.
It's all
Been
about
a
the badge,
pleasure.
man.
We'll
Yeah,
catch up
suckers, we
during the
like
week.
it, man. Let's go.
Yeah, man.
Been a pleasure. Let me thank Bim, Kay, not Kay, sorry.
Hey,
Devin,
K's
He's thinking about bringing
K's training
K
with
on.
Honorary,
John,
He's gonna sub
honorary.
K
Sancho.
on. Come
Let
on,
me thank,
K's-
let me
K's
thank,
gonna be hanging with
let me
Sancho.
thank Bim for coming on representing the Seoul UK representative today. Let me thank Devin, Joe, and the controversial one. Thank you very much. Have a nice week, and hopefully we
Have a
can
nice
get
week.
3 points against Copenhagen
Take
on
care.
Wednesday.
Glory,
Take care,
glory.
guys. Glory, glory.
Man
Man
United.
United.
You